Hello, welcome, Kat, to our Hair Talk
Hi.
Tuesday here at Art Form Studio. I usually do this on Zoom, so thank you for taking the time to talk hair with me. And this month it is Filipino American History Month.
That's right.
And
That's
give
right.
us a little bit about what you've been doing. And Kat here has been not just a friend, but a client and has been very active in our Filipino community.
Yes, Sherry, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be able to find some time for us to chat, all the things we chat about when I'm in the chair with you. But my name's Kat Corrido Bonds, and born and raised here in LA. I am a cultural producer and communicator, meaning I've produced many events based here in Los Angeles, many of which in the Filipino community, the arts and culture communities. Um, in the Filipino community, folks may know me. I was a long time volunteer staff member and board member of Philam Arts, which is the original producers of the Festival of Philippine Arts and Culture. And I did that for about 17 years.
Wow.
And I'm very excited to see where the organization is going now under just fresh, new, wonderful leadership. And I am also, I may also be known, I used to manage a rapper named Bamboo. And so, who's still one of my dear friends. And so, with that, I'm also the vice president of Beat Rock Music, the collective that is California based. We're both in LA, the Bay, well, and the Pacific Northwest as well. And my day job, if you will, is at Homeboy Industries, where I'm the director of marketing.
Amazing. You're an
Yeah.
amazing woman. That's why I like talking to you so much and inviting you on this platform. And for this month, and I thought every time you do sit in my chair, we always talk about this Filipinos with curly and textured hair like us. What was your experience like in Los Angeles with your natural hair growing up in LA?
Yeah, well, I grew up in the San Gabriel Valley, Alhambra to be specific. And I always had, wavy hair, curly hair. I wore it long. And growing up was fine. Of course, when Madonna came on the scene and I got the body wave perm,
I did too.
my mom went ahead and did it. My dad was so mad doing that. But then after that, um, growing up in a place where it was a lot of Asians, but not Filipinos, right? And so a lot of the girls that I grew up with and that I went to school had this beautiful, the straight Asian hair, like the black, just straight long hair, where it's like they would walk in high school. I swear they would walk in like their hair dripping like in the mornings, and then by third period, it's like perfectly straight, effortless, and just you know. And I always envied that. I think that it was seen as that was more of the standard and it was what was pretty. So and I really didn't like my curls. So I would wake up extra early every morning so that I would blow dry my long hair straight,
Mm.
and heaven forbid it rained, right? And so I did it, and also those were the times, our hair was so much more vibrant then, but I was doing it every morning, every
Wow.
morning.
Every
And
morning.
every morning, and just like blow drying and then straightening and all of that stuff. And then there was a time that unbeknownst to my mom, I got like a straight perm, and it like burned my scalp. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
no.
So all these things to just have straight hair. And even though we did grow up in a big hair era at one point, a little bit younger before we were in high school, that was okay. But I think that was more of the style, like of like styling and making it big, right? But it was still about still straightening out the curls. So it was hard, like, and also too, I think the also the way you're taught to take care of your hair, wash it every day.
Mm,
And then you wondered why it would get so dry and brittle and why I'd have split ends. And also it would be like even it would be like a lot of the store-bought brands, and it would, so we
dry
didn't
your
know about,
hair.
yeah,
We
we didn't know
didn't,
about
not in
buildup and
like
all
the
that.
90s, right? 80s and 90s when we were growing up. We didn't even get the right haircut. Dad was still cutting our hair, right? It's like
Yes,
a bowl cut,
yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah.
we have different textured, hair. Yours is curlier than mine. And
Mhm.
during junior high, it was like that was when my hair was starting to change. And it was just big and my parents were like, why is your hair so crazy? And it's like, why are you calling me crazy? It's not
Yeah,
crazy.
we
So I think
identified so much.
it's
Yeah.
like they just didn't know how to deal with textured hair and curlier hair. And I think the beauty standards, like you said, it's coming from our parents, that generation of, they grew up. I mean, my parents still have their like Spaniard names, right? They grew up in
Mhm.
still a colonial type of,
Yeah.
upbringing where the beauty standards there is like straight hair, lighter skin, get your, I think just like maybe 10 years ago, I heard hair bonding and whitening cream is still very, very like that's where it is very heavy in the Philippines. I don't know how it is
Mhm.
right now. I think we're still kind of changing that narrative now here in the States, where we're accepting our natural hair, our natural, brown skin. I think
Mhm.
it's this generation, it definitely starts with our generation, right?
Yeah.
Because you and I have children who are biracial, half Black and
Mhm.
Filipino, and now
Mhm.
their
We
hair is
do.
even curlier and
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
textured than ours.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
when did you personally accept your curly hair?
I want to say that it was definitely, gosh, in my late 20s, early 30s, really just before I had my daughter,
Mm,
is I was like, let's begin to. So that was maybe about, I'm in my mid 40s now, so that was about 10 years ago, really, where I began to just kind of let it go. But I think, there was a bunch of, I mean, I think things were just beginning to shift, right? Like there was um things just were beginning to get and I really want to say, I really want to just acknowledge Black women's hair movement. I think that, as they lead the way for many movements,
yes.
even within the hair community, I think once Black women were showing, off more of their natural styles, there was a level of comfort to say, oh, okay, like us brown girls can do it too,
Yes, yes.
and I really appreciated seeing that, because then we were able to see more images of women of color um, not straightening their hair anymore, and I think it was also just a kind of secret that, like, a bunch of us Filipinas with textured hair, like, we were blow drying our hair all the time, and we got really good at it. And not that there's anything wrong with it. I mean, last week I was all about my own blowout, um not having the freedom to have more, more
Style.
things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and being
Yeah.
versatile. It's not just, oh,
Mhm.
we're just going to wear our hair curly. There are different types of wearing your hair the way you want to wear it. I think in the 90s we saw more and more, women of color doing all sorts of hairstyles. They either wear their hair in, I remember Lauryn Hill had braids and locks.
Mhm.
I remember En Vogue wearing their hair straight and in braids
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
in different
Yeah.
beautiful hairstyles. A lot of updos. That's when I started doing a lot of, I would
Mhm.
curl my hair like every other day, put my hair up in curls. Like I wanted to get a
Yeah.
tighter perm, just like your hair, actually. I used to get perms as
Mhm.
tight as your hair. And
Mhm.
I only really started, I didn't really know my hair could even be this wavy.
Mhm.
It was
Uh-huh.
when I started becoming an educator for a curly line called Diva Curl. And
Mhm.
that's when I figured out, like, oh man, my kids' hair, their texture changed when puberty hit. So I thought, oh
Mhm.
man, her hair's curlier. What do I use? And Diva Curl had
Mhm.
such a great education system where I started developing more, I'd say an open-minded way of learning more about curly and textured hair. So
Yeah.
to me, it's like easier now for me
Yeah.
to understand the type of texture of hair, but I'm always learning. Like I'm
Mhm,
always learning
mhm.
about other new products out there. You've taught me about like different hair care items you've been using.
Mhm.
So right now, could you tell us a little bit more about your curly hair regimen and what is your
Mhm.
process?
Sure. As a working mom would be a working commuting mom, I'm very much a wash and go girl. So what I do is I'll shampoo, condition, deep condition, and girl, I will push my hair to wash. Like it'll probably be, and so very much different from in high school when I was washing my hair every day. I really try to maybe do um twice a week that I wash and that I do a full wash. So during the rest of the week, I love the refreshers. I know some folks do dry shampoo. That doesn't really work for me. I feel like it gets a little too
Yeah,
gritty. Yeah, for me.
it's a little too gritty and I could feel it on my scalp, so it doesn't feel
Yeah.
as fresh to me either.
Yeah.
Maybe because our hair texture could be still a little bit oily, but yet dry at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just like oils just stick on our scalp.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, oil just sticks on our scalp. And then it just, I don't know, the dry shampoo,
Yeah.
I don't really feel it. But I have been using this DevaFresh. It's a scalp and
Yes.
hair revitalizer. So
Yes. So I love that you refer this. I love it so much. I totally use this day 2, 3, 4, maybe
yes,
5.
if it still looks good, day five is always going to be like, okay, I'm going to put my hair in a
Yeah,
ponytail. It still looks good.
exactly.
So what I do
Exactly.
like day 2 and day 3, it all depends on like everyone's hair texture too. Like
Mhm,
with your
mhm.
hair, it's curlier, but with my wavy hair, it does get really like tangled on the inside. So
Mhm.
day 2 and day
Same.
3, what I do is I have to respray my hair in the morning, or
Mhm,
I'm jumping in the shower
mhm, mhm.
with no shower cap, or maybe I'll just do a shower cap on the top.
On the top. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I
Uh-huh.
just want to refresh my ends, and then that's when I'll add the hair refresher. And I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing for curly girls is they don't realize that water is our best friend.
Yeah. 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 I'm gonna do it with you too because so as you can see, so because it's raining right now in
Yes.
LA, right?
Yes.
So I looked crazy earlier, thankfully. But at the same time, I think my hair likes the humidity in
Yeah,
the air,
because
right?
you have product in your hair already.
Yeah, I do. I do. So I put in like a curl gel. I have different, oh my gosh. And that's another thing. So many products that I have tried.
You kind of have to. A
Oh
curly girl has like
yeah.
3 to 4 max.
Yeah,
You just have to.
you do. You do. And so I do love this. And it's so when I just kind of smooth and scrunch,
Okay.
I just do that.
Oh, it smells good.
It really does. It is like a breath of fresh air. And so and then I try to get into my scalp a little bit to kind of refresh my scalp too. So yeah, I'm kind of lion's maney today.
Oh, I love it.
I I
That's what I tell my clients too. You know what? Frizz can be functional, especially on days like
yes.
this,
Yeah,
because
when you told me that I felt so much better. I was like functional frizz, I'm with it.
yeah, you know what? It's not what you wear, it's how you wear it. So as long
Yeah.
as it looks good, yeah,
Yeah.
it works for us,
And then I
like,
even, I'll like just kind of lift up with what
oh,
usually I
good.
have a pick, but today I have a comb. But I'll just kind of like lift it up a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that looks good.
And then, me trying my bangs lately. So I
I
love
like,
that. Oh, I would probably do that a little bit too. And
ooh,
kind of bring them in. So yeah, I'm
there
feeling
we
kind of
go.
Stevie Nicks vibes
Yeah,
right
I
now.
love Stevie Nicks. Love her and her
Yeah.
beautiful hair.
But I love too what you tell me, like after I wash my hands and my hands are still a little damp to like just kind of scrunch my hair. So I totally do that. But yeah, I do like a smooth and scrunch essentially.
I love
And
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
thank
do
you.
gotta thank the rain for a little bit of my body. The body is
It's gorgeous. I love it. Yeah, for it's it's so funny because I talk to my clients from the East Coast. They moved here from the East Coast, and then it's the West Coast where it's super dry out here. So for us, we have to keep our hair soaking wet first, and then put all our hair care in it. Then we towel dry. Then
Yeah.
it's trying to reset our curls or maybe even diffuse it. But we're moms. We don't really have the time
A
to
lot of
diffuse
wash
our
and
hair.
go.
A lot of
Yep.
washing for. I just want to just scrunch my waves. I used to just like these two here, they don't curl as much. So I'd have to take all of the rest of my hair and I have to twirl it. So I have to set all my curls together and just kind of like let it sit here and
Yeah.
wait till it just dries later and not touch it at all. And because the more you touch it, the
But
frizzier it
isn't
gets.
that what's so great about your wavy hair is that stick straight hair? I mean, love to all hair, but
Yes.
stick straight will not do that. All that you were doing, and then now it's like set so beautifully, like
Yeah.
so that it made me look back and be like, okay, so I can love my own hair. It doesn't have to be like the straight hair
Yeah.
girls, you know?
It's like, and then, straight hair girls love curly and wavy hair too. So it's
Yeah.
always, you got to put in work in
Either
all,
way.
in
Yeah.
all, in anyhow, every way you do it. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for this time. And, this month is Filipino American History Month. And
Uh-huh.
I love
Uh-huh.
sharing all the Filipino, isms that we both share
Yeah. Yeah.
because, and now we have this for our girls and sharing our hair regimen with them because
Yeah.
they may have kids who have different hair texture than they do too.
Yeah.
We don't know.
It's so true.
They're also,
Definitely a learning lesson.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're growing into it. I just saw her daughter earlier this week and she
Yeah. For
just
her
knows how to
hairstyle.
do her own hair now. She's
Yeah.
so beautiful. My kids are still learning. They're learning that
Uh-huh.
protective hairstyles are so much more fun too. So
Yeah.
it gives them, a break from, all the other
Let
things
me
they
do
do
it.
to their hair.
Yeah, I love it. No, and I'm glad that we have this community and that we have this kind of sisterhood and mommyhood that we can bounce ideas off of each other because you've recommended wonderful products in wonderful ways. And as you see when Kaisa comes and see you, she delights in getting, her curls refreshed and then they totally bounced up this morning
They
like you were
did.
saying they would. And I just, because we didn't really have that when we were younger, we went by like what was on the bottle or, whatever. And, I know we weren't really bothering our working parents too much with, our hair. It was really wash and go or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we get to just have, the functional frizz and the functional fashion for
Yes.
hair. You know
Yeah.
what I
I'm
mean?
all for it. If anyone has any questions about, wavy, curly, coily hair, I do love all textures of hair, all curl patterns of hair.
Mhm.
Um, you know, even Kat has referred multiple people who have different hair textures, even if it
Yeah.
is straight or, wavy, curly, coily hair. There's always an open conversation for us hairstylists here at Art Forum. And thank you, Kat, for sharing what you do is in your career and your love for the arts and Filipinos in our community. And not just that, just like the community and industry you're working at right now. And it's such
Yeah.
a important, aspect to our community as well. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, Sherry. Love
Love
you.
you. Bye.